Hello and welcome to this episode of Star Trek Reliant. I'm Doug in Idaho, your GM, and tonight we'll be continuing on our Trident adventure. Tonight with us is our usual cast of characters, starting with Chorog, our security officer.
Now I have to see how that thing floats.
We have our man out of time, DB Wells.
Pew, pew.
We've got our Vorb and science officer, Goral.
More pew pews, pew pew.
We have Con Officer Cara Running, played by Jarlin.
Fact or fiction? Join me tonight as we venture underground, breaching the vault doors of the bunker to find the truth of Elon Musk's secret fetish porn collection.
Oh no.
Oh my.
And following that is our CMO and XO, Eli O'Connor.
XO, it's CO now.
Ooh, yes. And our Chief Engineer, Rick Tier, played by Baz.
Greetings. The bunker will be destroyed. The knowledge must not exist.
As the quietest Australian.
I was speaking and I forgot to press the push to talk. It is coming through on the recording. So apologies for everyone.
No worries. So last episode we had a thrilling adventure getting off the first world of the Trident system through some urban combat. Checkers brought in an urban mech. The rest of the crew did incredibly well on their rolls, and they kind of smashed through a mix of Trident and rebellious pirate forces, and basically arrived on the second planet of the world Trident system, with the Harvester / Trident Rebel commander in tow as well. Although one of their number was acting a little bit strangely on the arrival, on the way to the gateway leading to Beta, specifically Kara. She was a little bit on autopilot, so someone may want to check on that. But as the group is effectively reconvening on the other side of the gateway in a relatively, dingy, swampy gray with a little bit of fungal color in the shrubbery around them. They're reconvening on the other side of the gate, and they see the Argo waiting for them, and Pym at the wheel with his arm hanging out the side. He just looks over to the group and says, "Oh, great, you guys made it. Yeah, I just kind of gunned it. Was screaming a whole lot, and yeah, how was that?"
There comes a metallic voice from behind the group. A very bit of spirited and exotic driving.
Oh wait, well, hold on. Do we want to introduce Vigarin now?
Yes, he came through the portal right behind everybody.
Okay, Eli.
And I mean like right behind everybody.
Okay. Eli, where are you in relation to Vigarin?
I won't tell.
Yeah, okay.
I'm guessing that everybody at least is
well.
in fairly close proximity to each other, probably standing near a gate on Beta, unless it just spit us out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, you guys are basically standing on the other side of the gate on Beta, so the gate is right behind you and it's empty. So let me grab a screenshot real quick as you guys take it away.
That was a masterful work of evasive driving. Vigarin also looks over to Bosho, who is standing next to him. Also, I would like to thank you for not attacking me. There's a pause. Unless that was what you were about to do.
Well, I thought I did attack you. I threw that guy over to you.
Yes.
Rick, you just rolled and got 2 successes. What did you roll?
That was an insight. both for Garal and Setzer. So he's basically, just as he's coming in, he's just taking stock of who's there, what's around, what's going on, what's the new situation like. And the first thing is definitely Kara. Second thing is, what's going on there with Garal?
Definitely you're not missing anyone. Everyone who came through the gate is there. Plus, an extra Pim and an Argo who apparently made it through the gate before you in a panicked rush. Kara is nearby, and she's basically just staring glassy-eyed forward at nothing. I can't tell you how Goral is doing. Goral will tell you how he's doing.
Grohl is acting a bit skittish and is kind of making sounds and slowly plucking bits of feathers out of parts of his body while just moving around and acting agitated.
Oh, that's nervous bird behavior there. I know that.
You alright there, Garal? You seem a bit agitated.
Yes. I was a spiker. I was security at one point. Bad memories and training.
On instinct action, both Bosho and John saunter over to Grawl and give him a really big set of tardigrade hugs.
Grawl just continues shaking.
What was Dro's first name again? I'd forgotten.
Mian.
Vigaran looks over at Mian. Are you going to try to kill me again?
I'm not in any particular shape, too. Sorry to say, it kind of hurts.
Yes, well, you did attack me. You have a doctor, yes?
Right here.
You should most likely attend to him.
Probably, but I want to make sure you're not going to fuck us.
I lack the necessary equipment to do so.
I didn't mean in that. I didn't mean literally.
His face just goes completely blank.
I'm sorry, I still cannot keep them right in my head. Is Setsa or Kara the one who was doing all the spiky
That was Kara.
ground stuff? Okay, sorry.
What's Ilium doing? Or Marcus?
Well, the man with still spiky white hair and orange eyes is standing off to the side of the group, just kind of looking at the situation. Arms folded and looking somewhat amused, and he's got his back to a rock.
You over there, you still actually Graves, or?
Yeah. Also, he kind of looks awkward. Kind of rubs the back of his head.
Also...
Continue.
Yeah.
no, if you have something more intelligent to say, please.
I don't know how intelligent this is going to sound, but yeah, the personality stored in the augments he was given.
No, I was saying let Kara continue.
Oh, I was just going to say, Vigaran, moves over towards Ilium and just says, "What are your plans, Ilium?"
Hang around and see what happens, basically.
No more than that? He sounds surprised.
Well, he glances over to Setsa. I don't have any particular reason to do anything else at the moment.
If he tries anything funny, I want you to pop him. He tries to teleport out of here, pop him.
Curious.
Which one?
You know the one that bombed an entire city.
Bojo raises a hand.
I was about to say, out of
the
anyone...
one that did it recently.
There was no hand raised.
Well, Vigaran, do you have anything to say to that?
To what?
The orbital bombardment stuff. That's a little much for Trident lower forces.
I gave no such order.
You're only friends with the people that gave the orders.
Yeah, probably Rune.
At that point, Vigaran rounds slightly and gives Eli O'Connor just a horribly dirty look, or at least as dirty as someone can give with compound eyes, and simply says, "I serve Trident, not the caretaker.
Well, glad to hear that's still the case.
Then you might want to do something about whoever's bombing cities.
It had been under consideration when an organic was thrown at me.
Well, I had no say in the matter there.
Bosho raises a hand and says, "I sorry."
It should be noted that while we are leveling such accusations, the harvester's hands are far from clean.
Really now. Elaborate.
Marcus?
Dro takes a long sigh and says, "Yeah, we've been raiding settlements, military installations for supplies and all that. I mean, first it was, basic survival, but yeah, building up. Hard to control pirates. Hasn't been something I've liked, but haven't really been able to put a stop to it. So things just kind of kept going."
I try to sit everyone down for a nice talk. One of us runs, and then all that happens.
I have
Graves
no idea
are-
what you're talking about.
You were there for the talk. I had the
No,
bomb.
I'm saying that out of character. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Teleported away.
Yeah, the mall incident. How that
The
played
bombing
out first.
actually happened.
As this, Garen just looks at him and says, "I was under assault by 3 heavily armed troopers."
And we got them to sit down, put their weapons down.
You got
We were having a
one
nice chat.
to sit down. The
No, I
other
got all
two-
3.
No, you got one.
No, I got 3.
No, you got the one that was talking to you. The other 2 stayed watching Vigarin.
Yeah, so he got 1 out of the 3, but I mean they were basically you got the important one. The leader was sitting down, so the other 2 wouldn't have done anything.
I count that as having all 3.
You're welcome to do so. That's not the way Vigarin sees it. He saw 2 people shoot, with rifles staring at him.
So basically, at this point, Ilium/Graves raises a hand and says, "Well, you've got an opportunity to speak now. Don't have to keep That's kind of the important part. We are on beta after all, so there's a little bit of progress if you guys want to be, I don't know, replacing who's in charge here. Not of this particular group, but Trident in general."
Vigarin just kind of, nods and says, "That would be ideal. Your presence makes this much more likely."
Yep, and I think Dro is angling for the same thing. I mean, he's got the greater ambition, but I mean, replacing Arun with someone else is at least a step towards what you guys are wanting.
Vigarin looks over at Dro and simply says, "You have the book. You know what he is capable of."
Yeah, it's a question of just exercising potential, though. I'm happy to kind of sit on the sidelines here and let you guys work things out in a very reasonable way.
And Vigarin just kind of holds his arms out, palms up, as if to say, "Look, I got nothing here."
Dro sighs and says, "We are making fairly significant progress here, so I will happily defer. I want out, but that doesn't necessarily mean we have to get everything out, I suppose. So, yeah, we'll make do."
Vigarin just nods and says, "I do not demand your trust. I merely ask a chance."
Ilium looks over to Eli.
And?
He just says, "You are commanding officer here. That sound good?"
Well, whoever misbehaves first is going to the brig.
Excellent.
All right, and Ilium/Graves looks up. Are we calling that the brig now? And he gestures to the urban mech that is standing with the group.
No,
Vigarin
that's
moves- Okay, go ahead.
that's the emergency delete button, just in case.
Vigarin moves over to Kara and just kind of looks at her, just sort of standing there. Unusual.
Yeah, someone
Eli also walks over, checking on Kara. What's unusual about her?
she's just staring off into space like she's not fully there.
I understand that. He seems to know this stuff better.
I was referring to her current behavior. I can offer probable explanations if desired.
Go on ahead, I'll see what I can do with her in the meantime.
Acknowledged. The
Setsa goes over to Eli and says, "Yeah, anything you need, just let me know. I mean, definitely not normal and a bit worried."
Garen just, kind of looks over Kara for a second and says, the installation process of implants to control Trident and interface with all systems is a slow process. In her case, it has been interrupted. Likely, her odd behavior stems from internal systems attempting to return her to Gamma before the situation is untenable.
So I just want you to repeat that. You said that you install,
I said the installation.
The installation. You said we, or something like that. You said...
No, he said the.
Okay, he said the. It sounded like we. I'm sorry. Brain is having a fart. Disregard.
So, Arun started the installation?
That is correct. I believe that the caretaker found something of interest within the species known as Ibi, and had chosen Kara as a guinea pig, as it were. He looks around at the silence. That is the correct term, yes?
Ilium nods. Yeah, you're doing a lot better than the old days.
Point me in a direction so I can just kick an ass already.
Yeah, I mean we're on that road here. Though it looks like someone came around here before us. He gestures to a fairly well-trodden path leading away from the gateway.
That path leads toward one of the major installations on Beta.
Yeah. Dro boy, any insight? Dro says, not as such, but could be some of the other pirates. They did have access to the gate before we did.
I do not believe that the Mayhem have the required... He searches for the word. And I can't find the word either.
That does guess.
Thank you very much, Brain. God.
Allies,
Mayhem don't require
resources.
Discipline, that was the word. I do not believe the Mayhem have the required discipline to have come here first on any reasonable plan.
And the Brotherhood of Bow show
I wonder if this ever happens on Matt Mercer's show.
Ilium says, and the Brotherhood of Bow show is following their leader, so kind of leaves the Caltag pirates. That'll be interesting. Dro rubs the back of his head. Tries to stand up, but is still requiring some medical attention. Real quick, Rick, you just said speak up in chat. Does that mean me?
I think he's trying to get DB to say things instead of type them in chat.
Well, yeah, I was waiting for the scene that was happening to end, and then it just kind of transitioned to a different scene.
You gotta break in there.
Yep. So let's go ahead and go through the most recent item. No, you would not find anything done on the Chrono Scanner here.
Beta
Although
is
actually,
almost deserted.
Actually, the Chrono Scanner allows you to see what recently happened, correct?
Oh yeah, true. Yeah. About an hour ago.
Okay, yeah, you would be able to pick up that a large group of, Caltac, so these tripedal, very brutish fellows with a little bit of flair in their pirate garb, they moved through here, as well as some heavy vehicles, some walking vehicles. So that intel might be useful for the group.
Thank goodness Marcus is thinking. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Okay, I guess I'll... Yeah, I guess when they bring up the pirates, and when they brought up the pirates, Daniel looks up from his scanner and just says, "Well, actually, they did come through here about an hour ago. I want to say, had a lot of heavy machinery nearby with them as well."
We should be wary of running into them. They are unlikely to be amenable to conversation.
Yeah, that's why we got that. He points to the urban mech with checkers in it still.
You see something, though, moving on top of the urban mech. It has a leather pilot hat and goggles.
The hell is that?
You hear Sabadu's voice call down. Can someone get me down?
Checkers from the urban mech says, "No, you got to stay in the bumper seat."
Okay. She climbs inside and goes into the bumper seat.
This would be an... Go ahead.
Although this would be an opportunity for checkers to call down with, first of all, scan, but also basically take some strategic action, like say, effectively provide an initial plan of action with said mech.
I believe I could retrieve her to the ground if you wish. My functions are not irreparably compromised.
Checkers turns on the mech's loudspeaker. It's fine. It's fine.
It's cramped in here.
It's supposed to be. It's fine. We're gonna keep watch and maybe go ahead and blow something up.
When Checkers desires, go ahead and give me an insight, science, or engineering roll to do a scan of the area. And then for anyone else, this is an opportunity to take advantage of the moment of downtime, check in with different characters, get supplies from the Argo as you need, and make any modifications you can in basically a little bit of a muddy clearing.
Vigarin is open for questions. For right now, he's just staying next to Kara.
You said insight what?
Insight, engineering, or science?
Engineering it is.
3 successes. Okay. Once we get started, I will give you the lay of the land. As for other people, I will say for my characters, Ilium is still just sort of... He's just chilling. Setsa's looking a bit worried. Also keeping a little bit of distance from Ilium at the moment. There might be something to dig into there. And yeah, you've got Kara and Dro for medical attention. So Eli definitely can provide some medical roles there, but anyone who has medical expertise on their character can also assist.
Eli's helping Kara first.
All right, go ahead and give me a reason medicine. Actually, insight medicine roll.
While he's doing that, Chorog, you just rolled 1 success, 1 complication.
On something.
What's this?
Chorog is taking a look at the lay of the land. You notice that the area has been it looks really swampy. So he starts tinkering with the Argo, trying to get some of the armor plate off so the Argo doesn't sink down to its wheel wells in the mud. As he's pulling on one of the armor plates, he re-injures an old injury in his back.
Oh, I was going to be nicer. I was going to say, you get the armor plate off, no problem. The Argo will no longer sink into the mud. Unfortunately, you have. Up to you, which is better.
We'll help your guys. I seem to be stuck.
Pim reaches over. I got you.
Pim is going to roll.
While Pim is
I'm spending
rolling,
4 threat.
Pim
while
rolled
they're
a 10
rolling,
and a 1. So actually, Pim just reaches down and you're slurped right out of the mud and into the back of the Argo. Pim is apparently much stronger than he looks.
Okay, before we get into DB, Eli.
Yes. You got 3 successes. Basically, Kara is alive, but you're not really reading a whole lot of neural activity. She's basically walking sleep. Or perhaps walking comatose might be a better idea. You might be able to wake her up, but there's not any specific reason you need to do so, unless you just want to.
It feels fucked to leave her like this, so yeah, wake her up.
She wakes up, she just kind of starts for a moment, and then she just pitches face forward onto the ground.
Setsa eeps and goes to help Kara up.
Okay. Kara looks around. What happened?
You asserted godlike power over the land and helped us get through to Beta.
Okay, I don't remember any of that.
You killed a lot of people.
Well, that happens.
Well, they were psychotic pirates, so...
Like full-on Mad Max.
Yeah, it was a little scary, but glad you're okay.
Dro just kind of looks over for where he's just sitting and clutching a bleeding chest wound. If I may...
I'm coming, I just gotta make sure we don't all get spiked.
A reasonable precaution. He is trying to be a good boy here.
I'm sorry, I do just love this mental image of the guy who's obviously bleeding and dying is the second on the triage.
I mean, under the circumstances, it is actually a reasonable call.
It's like,
I mean, he's just got
I understand you're bleeding out there, sir, but I need to make sure the godlike weapon doesn't attack us.
Reasonable.
But
I
yeah,
have not yet seen my ancestors.
anyway, Eli, heads on over.
All right, go ahead and give me a medical roll for that. Inside control, whatever floats your boat.
Control command or command. What the fuck? Medicine.
I command the wound to close.
Power word
Actually, I was
heal.
like, yeah, command
Presence
medicine wouldn't
commands
work because
to
of the
heal.
same thing. I was thinking presence medicine. You order all the doctors to get to work.
What doctors?
You
I
give
was
their
thinking of a
spells
use for it. I
arousing-
didn't say it was a use right now.
I think Setsa has first aid, though, as one of her focuses.
You give their cells a rousing motivational speech and they start working faster.
You invoke the power of the placebo effect.
Magnetic healing.
You only
All right.
think you have a chest wound. Trust me.
All right, Rick. Anything you want to scan in the area with respect to the gateway, with respect to the urban mech that has joined your group, or with respect to the Argo?
Yes. So basically, all three. With the Argo, he just wants to do a basic damage check to see. All right, is there anything that we need to do to make sure that we just don't suddenly stop in the middle of nowhere? It just sort of wants to do a basic overall look at the urban mech to see, well, he did sort of fight off a giant thing last episode, so there's probably some damage going on there that may need to be looked at. And well, the gate is to, okay, try and get a bit more information about how all this gate network stuff works.
All right, so give me a series of insight engineering rolls, and this is basically what Rick has been doing while everyone else has been talking. 1 success on the Argo, 1 success on the Urban Mech.
The Argo is not heavily damaged. In fact, it's mostly fine. The suspension is a little worn from having basically had a near orbital drop. But other than that, it's good.
For the Urban Mech, you're not at, there's a little bit of light scoring, but you're not able to find any major damage. Although, to make sense of the device, or the machinery, and the modifications made to it, you may have to ask checkers. And then, as far as the gate goes, with 2 successes, you're able to identify that the gate here doesn't seem to be operating on the same kind of timing mechanism as the other gates. It's more of an on-demand gate. With 2 successes, you're able to identify, though, that unfortunately, the gate is low on charge. It's slowly building, but to get to a level where you'd be able to fire it off, it's going to take a little time. So it could be an escape mechanism later, but you can't really do anything with it right now.
Okay, he'll run a few math calculations, get an estimate of the time that they will need to wait before the gate is going to be operational again. And then he will go to tap his comm badge and go, Rick here to checkers.
Hold on a second. I'm trying to get the whiskey dispenser to work.
Well, that sort of leads into my question. How is the damage up there going? Is everything all right, or is there anything that's, a bit rough working around? Anything problematic with any of the hydraulics, or...
The left leg actuator is a bit sticky, but for the most part, it's fine. I can work with this.
Alright, let me know if there's anything you want me to get a decent eye on. There's not much we can do right now, seeing we don't have industrial replication facilities, but we'll see what we can do. And with that, Rick's done.
All right, Grawl.
Grohl is slowly pulling himself together, but still mumbling a little under his breath. He mumbles something about the Klingons and looks around anxiously.
Fortunately, there are no Klingons.
There are 2 tardigrades giving him big hugs, though. Otherwise, Oh, DB?
Yeah. Okay. So, I just wanted to say while John Doe is just kind of shaking in one of the back seats of the Argo, Daniel's just kind of walked over and gotten in the driver's seat and just kind of sitting there, just being a little contemplative there, while everyone's getting their stuff done. And he, from his times with the crew, he's gotten a bit more acclimated to the violence and action that tends to happen. But this is the like the most like fighting and death he's seen so far. And he's just kind of sitting there thinking about it, and just kind of thinking about how everyone else, or for the most part, remembering John in the back seat how everyone for the most part just seems to be just very casual about all of it.
Well, there's
kinda-
also Grawl freaking out.
Yeah, and Setsa
Well,
doesn't
yeah,
look. Setsa doesn't
I
look
said-
comfortable.
Yeah.
I said for the most part. I don't know.
Yeah. So, as you sit get into the driver's seat, Pim, after helping Chorog out, and he's kind of looks at Daniel for a long minute, then shrugs and gets in the passenger seat. He was driving. But I made it so you didn't just sit in his lap.
Yeah, I figured he had to.
Yeah, he
I don't
had
know.
to move out to pull Chorog out of the mud.
Yeah, you just didn't get right back into the same spot. As things are progressing, Setsa just kind of looks over to, or she looks between Kara and Vigarin, sighs, and leaves Kara with, it's actually a good question. Dang it. Okay, I was going to say
Setsa
something.
stands looking confused, unsure of what to do.
Yeah, she's looking between Kara and staying with her versus going off and questioning Vigarin.
Well, he's right next to
Ilium-
Kara, so right now there's not a difference.
Oh, okay. So she looks up and says, well, you seem to know what's happening with Graves.
I have theories. They appear to have borne out.
Yeah, so what are these theories?
In the distant past of Trident, there was a... And he looks over at, Graves. Radical element who instilled chaos within the system. The exact deeds would be better shared with you from Mian, but I can tell you that for a time he worked both for and against Trident.
Yeah, so cyborg dude, given the fact that his personality is now in Graves, correct?
That is correct. When Ilium finally fell, I saw to it that his essence, the nanites that had made him so powerful, were preserved. You can think of what happened as sort of a bit of tomb robbing and resurrection in a sense.
Yeah, so why Graves?
I do not know.
Right. Right. Can these be removed?
I do not know.
Okay. He gives a sigh, looks over to Graves, and Graves gives a bit of a hand signal, and she blinks and says, right. Someone could ask her about that.
Kara's out of it, so I think that's the main person who would.
Exactly. I mean, Vigarin could, but...
Yeah.
Vigarin just kind of looks back between Ilium and and sets up a couple times and says, coded communication.
Not really. It's kind of more of an Ibby Sybil, so...
There's a click.
I mean,
Foreign language communication. My mistake.
yeah. Alright, well, don't think things are too bad yet, so yeah, let's just focus on getting a move on before anything out here takes an interest.
Vigarin just nods and just kind of kneels down I just picks up Kara, who's like, hey, and then she can't really do anything about it, though. And he's just like, you should rest. And he goes and he just puts her in the back of the Argo.
Ilium walks over and does the exact same thing with Setsa, with a pretty much equal response.
If bugs could laugh. Meanwhile, actually, let's see, where was that medical roll? We lost
2
it in all this.
successes.
Yes.
No, I got it.
I linked it.
Yeah. So with 2 successes on the medical roll for Mian, you are able to basically patch him up pretty well. I mean, especially with dermal regenerators in any standard field equipment. You are basically able to stem any bleeding. He's going to be sore for a little bit, but yeah, I mean, he's basically 70% of the way back to full recovery.
All right, it's my medical opinion that you should not get any more sucking chest wounds.
Noted. I will endeavor to stay out of the way. So, for fabrication, you cannot fabricate anything here, Jorog. So it's basically improvised construction. You would need something that you could improvise a pontoon with, and I doubt you have anything that could fit the bill for providing enough weight for the Argo.
Okay.
The only exception would be is you installed a replicator on the Argo.
Replicate lots and lots of small balloons.
Wait, isn't there one?
Replicate grenades.
Didn't we have like a bit like early on where like John Doe was like, I don't know, never mind.
I think it was stated just a second ago that you guys had a small replicator on board, Marcus said.
Yeah, so basically, if you can think of anything that you can use a small replicator for, I can allow that. But yeah, this is one of those times where a roll would not be sufficient. You also need an idea.
Yeah, I need 5 million tin cans.
A little beyond the power of the replicator.
I think it runs out of juice at some point.
Yes. Good for survival rations, not replicating things in quantity. Also spare parts. But yeah, so basically you're not able to prep the Argo for any... It basically has to do as it is.
Vigarin kind of looks over to Mian and Ilium and just gestures to the path and says, you know where it leads, yes?
Mian shrugs and says, vaguely? Ilium says, yeah, I think I know. It's all coming back to me. And this place doesn't look any better.
The caretaker does not much care what happens on Beta.
No.
Vigarin turns...
Hopefully you don't have any jesters here.
Vigarin turns to Eli and simply says, the path that the Caltech Raiders is on leads to an installation from which the world Gamma can be accessed. I believe that is their current goal.
And what's there?
Entire control of Trident, the caretaker. A great deal more than that.
Right. Okay, alright, let's just set checkers on them.
Alright, checkers. With that 3 successes earlier, you're not only able to scan the terrain and topology, map out where there's solid versus wet ground. You also have some heat signatures. Some big heat signatures.
I knew taking the scanners out of a shuttle would help.
The heat signatures themselves, I mean, you're not able to get anything on visible, but they do basically fit a familiar profile. E.g., these are probably mechs. Not mechs as you know, but you have heavy artillery or combat vehicles somewhere ahead.
Full speed ahead.
So, yep, the urban mech just proceeds at maximum speed.
It's running, it's sprinting.
Don't. And yeah, the Argo can effectively follow the urban mech and avoid the worst of the environmental hazards.
Eli looks to Vigarin. See, we didn't even need to give him the orders. He's on it.
Vigarin nods and just kind of goes over to the back of the Argo and just sort of hangs onto the back of it like a giant metal bug.
Moo sticks his head out of the Argo and looks to Vigarin.
He looks
Sure.
back.
Garg takes his place at the gun.
And
Moo.
Rick T is just sitting in the back, in whatever open space is available.
That's snuggled up with Gara.
Slaps the side of the Argo. You can fit so many PCs in this bad boy.
Bosho totters over and places Grawl in the Argo as well.
I hope we have enough traction to actually get moving with all this weight.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
This baby gets 2,000 horsepower. Don't ask me how.
Oh,
DB's just gonna roll for it. So,
Yeah,
if we're all ready to get going, DB, go ahead and give me a control con roll.
Jesus Christ, that gif, no.
Are slowly disappearing into a sinkhole.
Also, we wait. I'm glad nobody questioned I'm glad I took the scanners out of a shuttle for this.
Well, one, I thought it was an A side to himself, so the only person who could really question it is Sabatu, and two, I don't think anyone's arguing with it considering how helpful it is. Also, the main person who would complain is Kara, and she's out of it.
So so with 2 successes, you're able to ease the Argo along. Takes a little bit of doing just because it is fairly muddy and broken up ground, but you guys are able to eventually get off and get going at a fairly decent speed, following a little bit of the contour in the land as you're able to move around some marshes following the urban mech. Around you as you proceed, you hear, assorted strange wildlife. Very strange. Not quite sure if what you're hearing in the distance is language or strange bird calls or auditory hallucinations. It is kind of difficult to tell. So as you guys are going along, go ahead and give me for the people who are on point. So this would be Daniel, Pam, and Chorog. Go ahead and give me inside security rolls. Also checkers.
Checkers time.
Robotics wouldn't happen to apply, would it?
No.
Alright, just had to check. I knew there were mechs buried in the mud, so...
Oh no.
They're not buried.
And all of a sudden, it's like Marcus says, they're not buried. I'm like, no, let them cook.
Okay. So, as the group's going along, let's see how this plays out. All right. With 2 successes, Charg's the first to see, what looks like a refugee. It's just, some woman standing on the side of the pathway, waving their arms in tattered robes. As you get close, they seem Orion. This is most unusual. Daniel, what you see is an indistinct form, basically waiting on that side there, but you're not able to tell that they're humanoid. Checkers. Just a second. I need 2 hands to operate the computer.
Yeah, I hope I don't accidentally run over somebody that's in the middle of the road.
So, Checkers, with your scanners, you're able to detect that there's an alien life form on the side of the road. However, you confuse the higher resolution scan button with the fire control button. So, as this strange life form is basically sort of arcing back and potentially getting ready to strike the Argo as it's passing, you just blast it. So all of a sudden there's just a huge phaser blast coming out from the urban mech as its torso rotates back around. And you just vaporized potentially as in certainly hostile life form.
Could have been friendly.
No.
Well, not much of a complication then, is it?
I was about to say, at this point, I don't think it matters if it was friendly.
And I want to say it was not the phaser; it was just full on the AC-20. That's
okay. The
gone.
AC-20. So it's just kaboosh. So at that though,
there's
the
a crater
AC-20,
there now.
So the complication is that Daniel, you now have to maneuver out of the way of the crater. Although at the last minute, Chorog, you see that before it gets blasted, the thing is definitely not a humanoid figure. They may have been playing with your mind.
Who's hungry for chunky alien salsa?
So,
And-
do I have to roll? Oh, sorry.
Yes, you roll Control Con. I'll spend 2 threats, so your complication range is 18.
Okay. I am Mr. Control. Oh my goodness.
2 complications.
So, with the 2 complications, you not only hit the Praetor and get stuck, but the back end flips, and well, the people in the back now have to roll to stay inside the vehicle or get catapulted out. So this would include Chorog, would include John Doe, Setsa, and
Kara and
Kara.
Vigarin.
And
And Vigarin. And
What's-
Rick.
What's the roll?
Eli was in the front. It's fine.
Yeah, go ahead and give me fitness security, and I'll spend 1 threat, complication 19. And Grawl too.
Yeah. I'm in the front part. I'm not. I wore my seatbelt.
I don't-
Yeah.
I don't get it. It seems like it's just a normal easy roll. Oh my goodness! Squidward!
Okay,
we're
so 1 success for Kara, possibly 1 complication if 17 is a complication. Vigarin he doesn't care. He's just hanging on.
I totally expected him to fucking ramp up the crater.
Yeah, so everyone holds on with those rolls. And Setsa is using herself to brace Kara, so she is extra snug. She somehow got 3 successes, even though this is going to be a terrible roll for her. So, huzzah! Everyone just gets jolted around as the front of the Argo is just essentially buried in the side of the crater.
There's a muffled voice from somewhere around Kara's, or from somewhere around Setsa's chest. I think I like it here.
Setsa simply nods and pats Kara's head. Ilium is notably looking in a different direction.
Daniel gets on the taps his comm badge and just asks, hey, Checkers, mind telling me what you're doing up there?
That is classified information.
Sabata giggles.
Well, Vigarin is going to jump off the back and try tugging on the Argo.
Okay, says Rick.
All right, go ahead and give me fitness security rolls.
Rick, you get the 2 dice. Vigarin will just get a assist.
Would gunning it in reverse help?
No, do not do that with people
They're
behind you
behind
trying
it.
to lift it. You would run them over.
Also, I guess Daniel gets out while they try to pull the Argo free, and while they're doing that, he wants to use his chrono scanner to see who the hell was that.
So you're able to use a chrono scanner, and you get the image of, well, it's a very strange life form, tripedal, with a little bit of a snaky head to it, although ending in a needle-like point. It seemed to have burrowed in here and then emerged when the urban mech had passed by, and was behaving in a little bit of a strange way, and was arcing back when it got hit by the AC-10.
20.
And that was or AC-20, and that was the end of that. And with 4 successes between you two on that roll, you're
I
able
keep
to
forgetting to do 1 die only, but
I mean, that first one was a good one. Rick, you were able, with Vigarin's help, to just muscle the back end of the Argo up and effectively pull the vehicle out and forward. So you're able to free it, and it should be able to just drive out of the small crater.
He's using levers and mathematics from his engineering knowledge to make sure that everything is out without damaging too much.
Yeah. John and Moo are helping to basically put the rest of the vehicle in order as things have flown about a little bit. And yeah, basically you guys are able to, I won't have, Daniel doesn't need to roll for this, but once you guys get back and going, you're able to get back on the road.
Daniel just tells everyone, I mean, it looks like that thing was just a funky little fella that got really confused by the giant thing that walked by.
Well, the impression would have been that thing was probably setting a trap for you guys.
Oh, okay.
That doesn't
Never mind.
that doesn't mean that's what he has to say.
Indeed. But yeah, you guys are able to get going, and you are on your way through the swamps of Beta. So with that, let's go ahead and take a quick 10-minute break, and we'll be right back. Beta. The effectively garbage world of the Trident system. They have met one of the local bits of wildlife and blew it up. And now the group is continuing on. As they're driving along, they do see a bit of a clearing through the tangle of tendrils, weeds, and, well, basically distressed plant life that's occupying the swampy habitat. And yeah, you basically have a little bit of a clearing. There's something in the clearing, just various shapes, and, well, it looks like a small structure that has largely fallen into the swamp.
On the way to this, Vigarin basically just kind of crawls around the side of the Argo and kind of sticks his head against Eli's window and says, "As the doctor, there are some things you should know about Kara's condition."
Eli rolls down his window because it's not an automatic window. He rolls down the window, just cranks it down. All right, say again. Sorry, this is soundproof.
There are some things you should know about Kara's situation. If she is left as she is, she will almost certainly die. Purgation of genetic material has begun. It will accelerate and cells will be unable to divide. Over time, this degradation will result in extremely rapid aging and bodily death.
And what can we do to do something about it?
Complete the process.
Complete the... Do you hear yourself? No.
Completing
I'll do it.
Completing the process would restore her to perfect health as well as give her control over all of Trident's systems.
And give whoever did this to her exactly what they want.
Do as you will. I merely offer you this information. So saying, he crawls back to the back of the thing.
Setsu is now gripping onto the bench seat very tightly. And the group continues on.
To the clearing where there is a building.
Yep,
Something.
there's a bit of a building there, and, well, what might be, might be bodies.
Nobody look at me. One of my characters is half asleep in
DB,
the back seat. The other one is
driving.
literally hanging onto the back of the thing.
Yeah, DB, you are driving.
Yes.
You proceed-
I mean,
you stop.
do I see the what?
Yes, you see all of this.
I know I see the building, but I was just like, I was just gonna ask, do I see the bodies in the building, or do I just see a
I have
building?
given it as a general narration. Everyone has seen this.
Oh, okay, sorry. I do slow down and stop, just to, at the very least, to like try and see if there's anyone nearby. I don't know.
Tuckers, do you slow with the Argo?
No. With the
Or
Argo.
just continue? Well, basically, the Argo is coming to a stop. You just keep going.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the lead. He doesn't see them stopping.
He keeps going.
He's just
That's what I'm saying.
he's walking towards the buildings.
Not following proper convoy procedure.
Well, he is picking up the larger heat signatures, so he may be in battle procedure right now.
That's perfectly fine.
Can he activate his jump jets?
The only reason I say it is I knew somebody in the military, and they were very big about what the proper procedure is when you're in a convoy and where you should be looking. And good lord, they went on for a while.
Max
Yes, he
has
can use the
special
jump jets.
convoy privilege. He's going to land on top of the building. Hard.
Okay, so there's a small structure that is like a small outpost, and
Yes.
you are just going to go stomp it.
Yes. Just crash down, feet first. Island burial.
I guess
Okay.
Daniel's. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so the urban mech, basically, there's a huge whoosh nearby and a feeling of wind as the urban mech goes up in the air, flies over, and smashes down in the building. What looks like dozens of bats emerge from the remnants of the building and swarm the urban mech for a minute and then fly away.
To be fair, there's a lot more remnants of things that might have been bats.
They're somewhat insectoid.
Daniel was in the middle of the process of scanning the building when said urban mech landed.
Well, go ahead and give me an inside science roll then.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting to actually do anything. I was just kind of.
Oh, go ahead and give it to me. Ready, desires dice.
It's for the dice gods.
Dag nabbit.
Dice for the dice thrown.
With 2 successes, you're able to find, well, what looks like the remnants of a lair, kind of reaching down. Well, what's there now is something was lurking deep below, but has been pancaked by several layers of building and the full weight of an urban back. So,
30,000 tons.
problem avoided.
I was about to say 30 tons, or 300,000 pounds.
Yeah, my brain. Wow.
This urban back is from neutronium.
I was about to say. At this point, the Argo should be stuck to it.
It has gravity. But yeah, Checkers has defeated another hostile life form.
The building was a hostile life form.
Something was inside that was a hostile life form that has now been pancaked.
Over the comms. I think I got it, guys.
Ilium Radio's back. Good job. It's an earnest expression.
At this point, Vigarin crawls around to where Graves and DB are and says, "You may wish to ask him to refrain from doing that to any structure we see. One of them will be the one we seek."
Ilium Radio's over. Checkers, if the structure looks valuable or pointy, don't crush it until Eli orders.
Roger that.
Especially if you see people living in there.
I see people. Alright. He turns off his comm. Alright, well, this is trash planet, so I don't think any buildings look valuable here.
Sabatu nods.
Vigarin crawls back around to the back of the Argo.
The rest of you can basically investigate. You have, a little bit of a opening now that a building has been smashed and something big down below has been smushed. So, yeah, you can hop out and do as you will, but inside security roles will be needed.
I guess Daniel's just kind of gonna stay in the driver's seat. If
Alright, you want to go investigate?
Yes, I do.
Setsa, for something to take her mind off things, she'll investigate as well.
Yeah, and Rick will join them as well.
Trog hops off the Argo and starts looking around.
I guess it's time to look around, see if we can find anything useful in this mess.
Alright, with those rolls, Setsa and Chorog, they're able to basically note that a little bit of a battle's taking place here. Looks like someone was trying to set up a little bit of a defensive emplacement, but they got hit by something. You're not quite sure what. The bodies around the area are, well, they're Caltac. So they were caught up in something. Rick, you're able to see that the Caltac left some traps. So, Setsa and Chorog have since moved into the trap field.
Guys, Setsa, Chorog, they've trapped this area. Be careful. You're practically in a minefield right now.
Understood. We'll move gingerly.
Setsa just has a look, sighs, slumps her shoulders, and nods. She follows Chorog's lead.
Trog sees a couple bodies and goes to check them out, but stops short, noting that a couple of them have been rigged.
I wouldn't touch those bodies if I were you. They're rigged.
Setsa nods. She takes some scan data regardless, just trying to get a little bit more biological profile on the Caltac and trying to figure out, well, what got it.
While Setsa's scanning the bodies, Trog takes a moment to take a look around. looking for obvious traps or other snares that the enemy might have set up, and spots a spot of ground that just doesn't look right. It's been disturbed. It's not in the same condition as the rest of the ground.
Hey, Rick, here, check out that ground over there. It might be a punji trap. We don't need to be rolling into that.
Yeah, Rick will come over, have a little bit of a look at it. He will see if I think he might be able to, use the phaser as some kind of disabling tool, or see if it is like a pit trap or just anything like that.
Go ahead and give me an insight engineering roll. With only one success, you're able to basically identify that, yes, there's a couple of pit traps nearby. One may have also been, there's a third that may have been in progress. There's a few sticks and a short hole, but the Caltech may have been interrupted in their preparations.
Well, yeah, it definitely looks like there are pit trap. This is a pit trap, but what confuses me is that these traps are only it seems like they were interrupted. There's only partially done ones.
I'm thinking they were in the middle of doing these traps when these guys got ambushed and were killed. We need to try to find a way around this because these traps pretty much covers the whole roadway.
Actually, it's just the clearing. They did not include the roadway. It looks like they were.
They even have a roadway.
I mean, you got still a little bit of a trodden path.
Well, path of travel.
Yeah, the pit traps do not fall into that. They're basically dug in front of the emplacements that the Caltech were using to basically fortify a defensive position around the building.
I mean, we've got two options here. Either there's still some of these pirates around, but I'm most likely to probably just return to the main base, and hopefully there shouldn't be a problem, but I'm more concerned about whatever interrupted them, massacred them so well. We, either we need to get going now, or we need to do a proper recon.
The Garen kind of just turns his head around to look at Rick and says, I believe that your friend Checkers has already solved that problem.
It's not necessarily the only problem, but, sure, what do you think? Anything worthy, or should we just get going?
Trusting his pirate instincts, Chirag suggests that a proper recon is in order.
Yeah, just because one group of these guys have been mushed by the mechanical wonder over there, doesn't mean that there's others not laying around hidden. I think we ought to reconnoiter the area. I just don't feel right about this.
All right, let's go.
All right, Sitz is also going to join, so go ahead and give me another set of insight security rolls. So the group's able to recognize that there's a few burn marks kind of in around some of the bits of structure that kind of give an impression of where the attack came from. Certainly something wasn't good in the structure that has now been pancaked, but from what attacked the pirates, it came from outside, so around the clearing in the periphery. What you see there is a lot of tangled vegetation, a lot of tangled swamp. Such in Chorog, you're able to kind of get a feel of like, well, given the burn marks of what may have been a high intensity beam, it was kind of from this particular direction on this, like the furthest side of the clearing from the Argo. But there's a question whether or not you should go poking in that vegetation.
If you look over there, you'll see those tangled vines. It's got trap written all over it. That looks like a duck blind. Whatever attacked them hit from that direction. Look at the carbon scoring on those blast marks.
Yeah, Rick just sort of nods along. Well, do you think they'll be causing problems for the Argo?
Considering how well I armed the Argo, whatever tries to hit the Argo is not gonna live long enough to talk about it.
You are currently standing in the clearing where the pirates were gunned down, and you've not been attacked yet. You have the option to either retreat to the Argo and get moving, or further investigate.
To be fair, you also have a, 15 to 20 meter tall urban mech standing in the middle of the area with a bunch of.
You don't. Urban mech kept going.
Oh?
It did?
Oh, didn't you? Oh, I thought you just kept going.
No,
the Argo
Checkers made the comment. He's still standing in the fucking ruins. Like, the mech's still, like, in the middle of all
that. Okay.
There's still, I was about to say, there's still biological goo gushing around from out its feet.
Oh, to Checkers, does that thing have a thermal scanner?
What do you need scanning?
To your right, you'll see some tangled vines that look like a duck blind. Scan that area. I got a funny feeling about it.
The top half rotates, locking in on that, and, does he just let loose around, or does he actually scan it? That's
okay, so you are... let's see. You can go ahead and give a scan, but you can also just take a shot. It is really up to you.
He's just gonna, like, as the thing turns, like, phaser goes on, it does, like, a wide sweep right across the thing.
Alright, you basically cut down a whole mess of vegetation, but there is a notable sort of... Well... Something does not take the phaser in the same way the vegetation does, as in something remains. And you kind of get this impression of a shield in the middle of that area. As the burning vegetation clears away and the smoke clears away, you see something the following that I'm going to link off in chat here.
Found it.
I suppose that is one way to do a scan. Not always effective.
Sweep.
Not always effective, though.
As the shield clears away, you see a strange bipedal, cybernetic life form standing there. It's got a large, kind of a very strange, featureless face, some massive technology below that, and a long, spike-like tail coming out from the back of the head there. You see the following just step out into the clearing. It's, this one's about 9 feet tall, a fairly big boy. And you've just shot it.
Vigarin looks over, notices the thing, and just starts screaming, Jester, Jester, Jester.
He's not wearing a funny hat, Eli says.
He's laughing.
Moo hunkers down in the Argo and moves sadly.
I'm sorry, Daniel first.
I was just gonna ask, does any of this trigger any of the implanted information in Daniel's head? Like, does he know anything about this thing?
So, yes, and what you get is an image of, the cybernetic life forms overrunning planetary ecosystems and laying waste to entire landscapes.
They are extremely difficult to kill, and upon being killed, will then self-replicate from the remains.
The double beep of a car door locking can be heard from the Argo.
Checkers, time to stress test the AC-20.
Checkers, as soon as he had the shield coming up, the phaser is just relentless on that as the AC-20 lines up and looses off.
All right, go ahead and give me a con control or security control roll.
Security control. It's sad because control is one of Checkers' lowest stats. He has no control. I thought that was funny.
He has control in other ways, such as the death fence. One success. The AC-20, you're able to land it on target. It just doesn't do much against the shield. The Jester is not able to, effectively do anything while maintaining the shield, so that gives the others cover to book it back to the Argo, which I would strongly recommend.
Yeah, I think we're not going to be doing much with that if it is taking on the Irby's armaments. We need to get out of here.
Retreat advised, retreat advised, retreat advised.
And
Checkers, keep that thing busy while we get out of here.
Busy. I'm killing this.
Bosho has leapt into the fray and is wielding he's wielding John's gravity hammer. So,
Daniel will wait. Oh, sorry.
So go ahead and for Chorog, Setsa, and Rick, go ahead and give me fitness security rolls to see if you're able to make it across the muddy ground in reasonable time.
Daniel will wait until they actually get near the Argo to unlock it again.
They're all doing their best, but they are definitely making it across muddy terrain and having to avoid, well, the nicer bits of terrain by having to avoid the punji stick traps and other improvised boo-boo devices that the Caltech have left behind. But the urban mech and being able to maintain fire is keeping the Jester on the defensive. Bosho will now do a roll. Bosho with 2 successes also strikes the shield with the gravity hammer. Hitting it heavily, there's just this giant twang from effectively the harmonic of the shield, like oscillating a little bit. So the shield itself is taking some punishment, and someone in the Argo can actually give some covering fire.
John Doe will start panic firing.
With what?
He's the big thing that will not die and would like it to die.
Okay, so you're panic firing. This is with your laser?
Yeah.
You have a turret available.
Yeah, I was about to say nobody's getting the turret.
You have that railgun Churag put on there.
Again, panic.
Okay.
Eli will get into the turret after this.
Okay, so Eli, go ahead and give me a control security. Daring security for the panic firing for our John Doe.
You said control security?
Yes. 2 successes for Eli. 2 successes for DB. Your panic firing from John Doe. You swipe the shield a couple of times. With 2 successes, you do not hit anyone else or the urban mech, so you're able to land the shots on target. They are not especially effective with a laser. The railgun, however, that's a good choice of weapon against the thing. With that 2 successes, you were able to land a shot dead center on the shield, and with the oscillation already in progress, the extra force breaks that shield. So I'll give a quick roll here for the Jester. With 2 successes, it's able to quickly basically repivot and jump surprisingly high and effectively get out of the phaser beam fire. So the Herbie will have to reposition and re-engage the phaser to get on target.
How high is it jumping? Is it still in the air?
Let's say, yes, it's still in the air. So it is jumping probably 20 feet high and arcing towards the others.
20 feet high isn't that,
Okay, 30 feet.
The urban mech's about that tall.
Yeah, so, well, it's tall for something that looks bipedal.
Yeah, the Jester is person-sized.
Big person-sized, yeah.
Well,
it's doing a big hop.
Let's hope Shakers can hit.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a control, con, or security roll, and complication 19.
I mean, he's just firing because the thing it has a 360 arc. It can turn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't need to it's just turning.
It turn and you have to attract the target, basically.
All right. Yeah. Okay, so security
or con control.
Going with security control then. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so yeah, 12.
Around this time, it should also be noted that Grawl is becoming quite agitated. And unfortunately, most of the people who would calm him down are busy.
John is hugging Grawl.
Which is why I said most.
Okay, so with 1 success, you're able to basically keep roughly on target, but you're not able to basically track the beam on him. So he does slip, but you're able to keep him in focus.
At about the same time he does that, there's a glow that comes from the front of the Jester, and a large disruptor bolt flies out and strikes the upper thigh of the urban mech, melting away some armor.
Yeah, it basically pulled a little bit of a trick shot. It's jumping towards the others, but basically turned midair, fired at the urban mech, and then is repositioning towards the others in the Argo. So at this point, Checkers, you can go ahead and give me another roll to see if you can lay down an AC 20 shot on it. The others who are in the field, they can do one more fitness security roll to see if they can get back to the Argo.
And can Eli also keep up with the turret?
Yeah, go ahead and give a turret fire. This is going to be opposed, though, so the Jester is going to try to dodge.
He's already dodging the AC 20. He's got a lot to dodge.
Oof. Well, I think we can say for sure that Chorog definitely makes it all the way back to the Argo.
Rick, you are most of the way there.
Checkers 2 success and Eli 2 success.
So between those two, or let me go ahead and roll for the Jester. 3 successes for the Jester.
Piss off.
Well, I'm going to take it as basically combined. So it's 4 versus 3.
I would also still look at it as we're trying to sell this thing to you. This is scary. It is fighting an urban mech to a stall.
And he's not that big. Setsa face plants in the mud as she slips. As, again, Chorog is able to make it all the way back to the Argo and grab any tools he wants there. And Rick is able to make it most of the way.
Garen jumps down off the back of the Argo and runs over to Setsa, helping her up.
Ilium has also automatically jumped off, so he's just ahead of Garen, but they effectively reach her around the same time.
In that case, Garen actually just turns and erects a shield to cover their, retreat.
As he does that, the Jester fires that yellow disruptor bolt and destroys the shield. So
in fact, the bolt keeps going and tears off one of Vigaren's arms.
Oh no! So yeah, it basically it reacted very quickly to that attack. Between the AC-20 and the railgun, the pair of Eli and Checkers, they're able to basically keep the Jester in bay, but it's able to dodge from more than, normally it would be a very serious wound as it's hit by the railgun, but the shot is basically deflected, and you can just see molten slag basically erupt for an instant as the shot glances off its thigh. So, go for it.
I just want to say, this whole time, John is still panic firing. I did roll again, but if you want to just say he's not effective, that's fine.
Okay, so with 2 successes, you're able to keep hitting it. It's not really effective, but you're not drawing its attention. So, yeah, the laser is not an adequate weapon to fight a Jester. I'd have to get tricky. The Jester, let's see, I'm going to do a roll for. The Jester turns and fires at the urban mech again. Checkers, I'll give you an opportunity to respond. Do you take the shot and open up something, or do you try to dodge? Because you kind of see this thing charging up as it's attacking.
Take the shot and fire back. Checkers taps a console and loads some special ammo.
All right, go ahead and give me an attack roll. If you want to make this daring, you can make it daring.
I might make it daring to make it actually viable.
Also, I'm going to say you guys have
character sheet.
With all the successes you had prior, I'll say you guys have 4 momentum. You also have your point of determination you can spend.
I'm just also checking what my talents on hit checkers do.
Not to worry. The others at this point, the Jester is targeting the urban mech. Everyone else is basically able to get back to the Argo. It's still impressive, how fast Alien was able to basically react, basically vaulting off the side of the Argo, kind of giving it a bit of a good tip, as he basically pushed off and slid right next to her.
And can I roll for Eli 2 still on the turret? Or?
Yeah, go ahead and roll for Eli as well. We'll just have this be your attack roll for the turn.
Well, that's what I thought it was.
Well, yeah, this was a defensive roll at first, but you're now turning it into more of an offensive roll. So,
Has everyone made it to the? Has everyone
Yes.
made it back to the Argo?
yes, I just said that.
Okay, sorry. I was just confirming because I think I missed.
Yep. So, Checkers, you get a warning, a serious warning about a shot penetration in the lower torso. You took a pretty good hit from that disruptor blast. It didn't go all the way through, but yeah, you have now taken some minor structural damage. But in doing that, you're able to basically line up a great shot with your railgun. I'll let you narrate what exactly you did there. O'Connor, you were able to, with Chorog's modifications, charge up the railgun a little bit and fire off a pretty good shot in conjunction to this as well. So I'll go ahead and let you narrate the AC-20 effect.
So as Checkers gets the warning that he's going to be hit, he loads an incendiary round into the AC-20.
So that
And-
incendiary...
Sorry.
No, go for it.
Nope, please you.
Okay, so that incendiary round, basically, it does definitely startle the Jester, because it is now basically, it was probably using thermal as its infrared to try to track targets with, and now everything is infrared.
A
So you're able
150 millimeter incendiary shell just hits it.
Yeah, it actually does some perceptible damage. Like the top of it is somewhat dented or damaged. The railgun on the back also does a little bit of damage as well. Bosho.
Plus, you flashbanged it on top of all that.
Bosho is also able to get in there as well. He basically bangs it with the gravity hammer. Although the Jester is able to effectively stand its ground despite that hammering blow from a full-sized tardigrade warrior with a gravity hammer device. The ground shakes a little bit as it's transferring the force through its legs into the earth. This thing is an excellent fighter.
Kara at this
With
point kind of just struggles to sit up and just looks at DB and says, "Now would be a very good time to leave."
I'm trying!
All right.
Daniel ignores it.
All right, go ahead and give me a con control roll with complication range of 17.
Okay. Wait, let me see. Since this thing is like a robotic-ish type thing,
No.
and I'm trying. Okay, fine.
No.
I just
Two
wanted to
successes, though.
ask-
That's very good, so...
Yeah, so basically with 2 successes, you spin the wheels a little bit, but you're able to get some velocity going. So, the Argo is basically moving out of harm's way. The Jester will. The Jester, though, isn't able to basically get a fix. It detects the movement. It's difficult to tell exactly what by as it's switching between different sensor profiles. It fires a shot, but it only hits the ground near the Argo, causing some molten ground to sputter up and, well, hit the side of the vehicle. It's a little startling, but you guys don't take any serious damage. The Urban Mech is still in combat with the Jester as well as Bosho. Irby, do you try to coordinate with Bosho?
Checkers is just going full front. He's, not in, communications with Bosho, so he's just, blasting it. Now he's loading anti-armor. Just replication.
Okay, go ahead and give me another attack roll.
Still with,
I'm going to say with daring at this point, because you're using the mech to its maximum capabilities and doing things that are definitely not in protocol for how quickly this thing is being loaded and how you're firing off those shots before full
it's
target
heating up
acquisition.
in here.
Heat sinks warning. No, this is good. This is good. So you're able to get a shot off, but you do trigger a heatsink shutdown with that. Bosho notices that the urban mech has stopped moving, and that the jester is turning towards it, actually aiming towards the cockpit this time, as it might have switched to life signs. As this does so, Bosho basically has a big tardigrade roar, leaps towards the jester, and spore jumps it out. He has pulled a Gandalf.
Checker slams his fist on the console as the urban mech shuts down as it's, overheating. It's just taking a minute to cool. You dare deny me my glorious battle?
And Bosho doesn't come back.
Yeah, I think that's the appropriate gift there to send Grawl.
Somewhere, John and the urban not John, Bosho and the jester are locked in combat, and give the group a quick moment to basically reconvene.
The Garen just kind of crawls over to the side and just says, to Eli through the window, the jester is one of the most dangerous anomalies on Trident. Pray you never meet the ones that are worse.
There are worse ones?
Daniel nods sagely.
There
Worst
are
ones.
Eli's still in the turret, by the way.
There are things that even the caretaker fears.
Rick is...
And without elaborating, he just moves back around to the back now, clinging on with his one arm.
Rick is just running up exhausted to the new place where the Argo is, and just
Yeah, everyone already made it to the Argo.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone did.
It already drove off, unless you want to be lit by.
No, sorry, I was just had a brain fart, I guess.
John looks out, and just kind of peers out at the empty empty clearing. He's just watching. You coming back?
Kara just kind of looks over at John and then back at what the thing did to Vigaran and what it did to the urban mech and said, if anything can stop that thing, it's going to be him.
I'm more disturbed that it could blast through a starship armor. I'm extremely concerned of that. Do you not see the USS Reliant on there? He literally took extra hull plating.
We're going to have to talk to you, checkers, about requisitioning Starfleet material, like actual ship material for this. But right now, is everyone okay?
He's not on comms right now, I think. Eli said that. He was pointing that out.
Oh, sorry.
Vigaran just says, combat capabilities have been drastically decreased.
Alright, well, that was fun.
Actually, Vigaran thinks for a moment, tilts his head and looks at Eli and says, that is what I would order an orbital strike on.
Sure, that would help at that point.
Jondo is just kind of still oh, sorry.
Oh, you go for it?
John Doe's just kind of still breathing really heavily, weapon still raised, just kind of staring at where the thing disappeared.
Grawl, how are you holding up?
Grawl is continuing to pluck feathers from his front, leaving a small bald patch.
Or reaches over and just tries to pat him on the head.
Yeah, I think Garel needs something.
Grawl snaps at Kara's hand for a second.
Oh, he can just go ahead and bite the shit out of it. It's made of metal. Might hurt himself, though. That said, Kara does notice and says, you in there, buddy?
Yes. Just training. I'm a spiker. We were trained to go into rages.
Kara looks over at Eli. You got any more of whatever it was you gave to Urton?
Yeah, well, what I gave to Urton wouldn't work for this. This is completely different. I have something much better for this. He says, getting into his med kit, crawling through the Argo, getting his med kit, and putting a hypo spray to Goral's neck, and just there you go, buddy. There you go.
Insight medicine or control medicine. Something medicine.
It's all medicine. It's all medicine.
It's no use, mister. It's medicine all the way down.
You got that space ketamine.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The good stuff.
Yeah.
Goral is slowly becoming more himself and calming down.
Alright, buddy, and
You can taste colors, man.
I'm also gonna run dermal regenerator. Well, not dermal regenerator. I'm gonna stimulate your stuff to grow back. It's gonna take a couple days for it to fully come back, but you don't want a bald spot, do you?
No, Mr. Bones, I don't.
That's right. You're Mr. Bones. I'm Mr. Bones. Welcome to my wild ride. He says, waving a light over the bald spot.
Would you like a hot chocolate or something?
Does Grawl want hot chocolate?
No.
John raises a hand. His antennae are they're pretty low right now. I want hot chocolate.
And Rick T will replicate one and hand the mug over.
Righto. Also, one question for Rick. Did you get any scan data during the battle of the Jester?
Yeah, I mean, once he got back to the Argo, he might have. He would have.
Yeah, let's go ahead and give a roll for that. Insight engineering.
Because before that, he was worried about not dying.
If that doesn't sum up what you should get when you roll to scan a Jester.
So you get a little bit of information about, you're starting to get a little bit of, when you were scanning in the battle, you were getting a little bit of data on essentially the skin weave this thing had and the way in which it was acting like reactive armor. The problem, though, is that as you're scanning the Jester, it fed a virus into your tricorder, effectively bricking it. Which means, congratulations, you have a virus to scan once you're back on Reliant, but you're going to have to be very careful about it.
Once again, say hello to the Jester. They are terrifying.
Alright, he will actually try and dig into the guts and deactivate the actual mechanical hardware on a hardware level, any actual communications and signal stuff.
You remove the power cell.
Yep.
Okay, that's good. If we didn't do that, I was going to have that thing grow legs. Alrighty. Any last things from the group? Chorog, anything you want to do at the end?
Chorog sitting in the back of the Argo, nursing a sprained knee, while also taking a look at his cannon. He thought he made it. He thought he had set that thing more powerful than it should be. I think he should have one-shotted it. So he's a bit concerned about its performance. He's going to have to run a diagnostic on it.
All right. As last thing for our chart for the night, go ahead and give me that diagnostic roll so we don't forget it for next time.
What am I running?
Go ahead and Insight Engineering.
There we go.
And if we're going to cover that next time, I guess we're all done for now.
With 2 successes, you're able to effectively upgrade the performance of the railgun significantly. So, yeah, you've got that to play with next time. And with that, I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. Tonight, we will continue on in a little bit here. I've got some travel coming up, so the schedule might be a little interrupted for a short bit, but we will be back with more adventures soon enough. With that, I'd like to say bye-bye, everyone. And if you have any feedback, any fan stuff, our email is reliant@starbasecgc.com. With that, good night, everyone.
Bye!
We live in a society.
Good night.
Here, the bunker with Elon's fetish collection.